the people that are left it's a small number, but the thing that I want everybody to do is just recognize that these people are coming into your organization, groups at school, they're still trying to do what you've all done. They're trying to be successful in a way that you've figured out as sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So they need your support, they need your encouragement, they need your guidance, they need a round of applause right now. All right, I have a question. Has anybody ever had a life-changing moment in the middle of something ordinary? You guys are kind of young, perhaps, for life-changing moments, but it can happen. I was down in Jamaica, and it was a beautiful, sunny August day. The ocean was this turquoise blue. There was a slight breeze. There was the sandy beach. There was, the smell of sea salt and sunscreen in the air, and I was going to windsurf. I was going to go down there. I was going to learn how to windsurf. So I went down, and I met a young 20-something man, Jamaican, named Charles, who was tall and lean and had kind of this little twinkle in his eye, And Charles was going to be my instructor. And I walked down to the beach, and Charles said, okay, so this is how it's going to work. He said, you're going to pull the sail up out of the water, and grab here, put your feet here, push your hip forward, put your chest out, and then you go. I don't know about you, but that didn't help me how to windsurf. So I did what he said as best I could. Hands, and feet, and push your hips forward and your chest out, and I went 10 feet. Okay, it was my first time. The next several times after that were the same thing. I gave myself a little bit of room for a learning curve, but I was starting to think it should be happening a little bit better than it was. So I got up, did the same thing again. I crash landed into the ocean. Charles is standing right there, waist deep in the water. And he just kept telling me the same thing. Put your hands here. I got out of the water. Well, Charles is not helping. I said, I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm never going to be able to do this. Got up on the board again, same thing. Came out of the water, I said, I don't know, I'm pretty stupid about this stuff. I said, I don't know what I was thinking, I'm not very good at this stuff, I'm not very athletic, I can't really do this, on and on. He said, get up on the board and try it again. So that went on for about another 10 or 15 minutes. And every time I got out of the water, I gave Charles this litany of, I can't, I'm no good, I won't, I'm too stupid, I'm not this, I'm too much of that. In my mind, I'm thinking this red Speedo was a bad idea. Sorry for the visual. And he finally stopped me, and he said, as long as your own words make you bleed, you will never succeed. I said, what? He said, you are being so hard on yourself that you're saying things I wouldn't say to my enemy. He said, you're making yourself bleed, you're hurting yourself. And I didn't quite get what he said, but I thought, okay, I'll try and see if this makes any sense to me. Got up on the board, 10 feet again, okay, so I'm the 10-footer, and I went 10 feet and I crashed into the water, only this time, instead of getting out and really calling myself names and everything else, I went, wow, way to go, that's pretty good. You went 10 feet, it's no different than the time before, except I took all the negative out. And I said, I did again, 10 feet, pretty soon it was 15 feet. Every time I got over the water, it was like, oh, you're looking good. That was great. You're really starting to get this. Maybe you're pretty smart and you are kind of athletic. And building myself up, I became my own cheerleader. By the end of an hour, I was able to go 100 feet, turn the board around, come back, go 100 feet, turn around, come back. I had the beginning basics of windsurfing nailed. Now, I went back to Charles afterwards because after I learned to sail a little bit, I could leave him on the shore and I could have some experience and have some fun. And I went back to him and I stuck out my hand. I said, I want to thank you. He goes, well, that's my job. I teach people how to windsurf. I said, no, you taught me a lesson. He goes, what do you mean? I said, you told me, you pointed out to me how negative I was being, what my negative self-talk was doing. You were right. I was causing myself to bleed. I was hurting myself. He said, word power is wind power. Word power is wind power, and that has stayed with me ever since. Truly, that was a life-changing moment, because here's what's happened since then. The story wasn't about windsurfing, because I haven't gone back to it since. It's just not calling to me. Could. But it was more about the way that I was talking to myself and the impact of that in what I was trying to accomplish.